What if the MCU wasn't Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball is a story about a universe of heroes and villains, aliens transforming, and cyborgs attacking. But what if another franchise had the same type of elements to their story and the two blended for one mega crossover? What if Marvel's Avengers fought Dragon Ball villains? What if Dragon Ball Z-Fighters fought Marvel's big bads? This is what if Dragon Ball crossed over with the MCU. It was only a couple days since King Piccolo was sealed by Master Mutairo. Citizens of Earth were still in great panic because although the Demon King was gone, they feared the thought of Piccolo or some other threat would arise. With the people scared, they would vote into power King Fury. Fury vowed to bring back their cities to all their former glory and then some. He vowed to the people of Earth that they would be safe with a hero to protect them. With that said, Fury made a point to find the smartest, brightest scientist on the planet. He brings together Dr. Briefs and Howard Stark. The two butt heads at first. They would constantly disagree on their experiment until one day it just clicked. They managed to create a super serum they used on an army soldier named Steve Rogers. Steve was just a regular meal type of guy before, but the serum bulked his muscles so much you could see the power radiating off of him. Dr. Briefs and Howard Stark were proud of what they've done, but ultimately wanted to gauge the strength Steve Rogers had. The two came up with two ideas. 1. Have Steve compete in the World Martial Arts Tournament. 2. The two would create a training simulation that would replay the events of King Piccolo or other threats. Obviously, one takes longer than the other, so while the simulation room is being built, Steve enters the World Tournament. The World Tournament first couple rounds are fodder competition. Steve, who enters the tournament as Captain America, wouldn't find an opponent a challenge until he's in the semifinals with a person in the Turtle Hermit School. This was Clint Barton, stage name being Hawkeye. Hawkeye's fighting style is different from Captain America's. Hawkeye knows how to use Ki, Blast, and even bulk into a max power buff transformation like Master Roshi. Captain America uses his military training to his advantage. He is a master of his hands. Captain America has to block and evade Ki Blast spiraling towards him, while Hawkeye tries to keep distance knowing he has the upper hand. However, Captain America had a couple tricks up his sleeve as well. Hawkeye shoots an arrow beam directed towards Captain America, but as the arrow spins towards Captain, he slides under the energy arrow, jumping into the air, spin-kicking Hawkeye, just catching on the inside of his jaw. Hawkeye counters by trying to out-brute Captain America, but as the two hands fly, Captain's would fly higher. Captain America knocks Hawkeye out of the ring for the elimination. The two show a great amount of respect for one another, and the rest of the audience watching also gained respect for the two fighters. Captain America would go into the finals of the tournament. He was definitely drained from the fight with Hawkeye, but that didn't mean he was going to lie down for his next opponent. Instead, Captain wants to end it quickly, knowing the more energy exerted, the more likely he'd get tired and more or less beat himself. That said, Captain would make his last entrance to his first tournament, where last year's former champion, King Choppa, follows. The crowd is electric for their defending champ, but Captain America isn't bothered. He's happy the people have something to root for, someone to cheer for. However, Captain America wanted to be that person. The money meant nothing. He wanted to give the people of Earth another protector. Another hero. With that said, Captain America and King Choppa launch at each other. America's strength seems to be overwhelming for Choppa. Eventually, Captain America beats Choppa to win the 20th World Tournament. After the tournament is over, Captain America, seeing all the different fighting styles, wants to learn them. He meets up with Choppa first, who agrees to spar and train with Captain. But also, Captain speaks with Hawkeye. Hawkeye explains that he trains under the Turtle Hermit, martial arts guru Master Roshi. Hawkeye tells Captain America he should come to the Kami House for some training and that next time he'll go all out. With that said, Captain America and Hawkeye would begin to build a friendship of sorts. The two sparred and trained on a normal basis, growing in power every day. Meanwhile, on the other side of the mountain, a space pod crashes onto Earth. We know this is Goku. He lands with Grandpa Gohan, the same as canon. However, one night, Goku's life would change forever. The moon was bright and full, and Goku was outside hunting. His eyes glanced up at the moon just for his body to go into shock. His body bulked and grew until he was a complete savage of a great ape. Goku starts to rampage. Unable to control his anger, he starts smashing and destroying anything in sight. Sadly, Grandpa Gohan serves the same fate as he does in the main story. However, Goku isn't just knocked out. No. With Captain America and Hawkeye training regularly, they just so happened to see the top of the mountain in flames. They went to go check out the scenery when a mouth beam came flying towards them. The two turn around to see a gigantic monkey swinging his arms at them. Captain America and Hawkeye both got on the prowl, ready to stop this great ape. Goku was roaring with primal fury. The giant ape swatted at Captain America, who nimbly dodged the massive blows with his vibranium shield held high. Hawkeye, meanwhile, was a blur of motion, firing a barrage of specialized arrows, some tipped with tranquilizers, others with powerful concussive force intended to disrupt the beast's powerful muscles. The sheer size and ferocity of the Great Ape proved challenging, forcing the heroes to rely on their years of experience and tactical prowess. While Goku's raw power was undeniable, his movements were predictable and hampered by his size, leaving openings for Captain America to exploit and for Hawkeye's arrows to collide. The fight was a desperate dance of agility against brute force, where cunning and strategy were proving to be more effective than raw Great Ape might. This would cause Goku to fade from Great Ape to a boy right in front of Captain America and Hawkeye's eyes. Captain America and Hawkeye were stunned. How could all of this power come from such a small boy? The two would discuss possibilities of what to do next when the idea of taking the monkey boy in, especially after finding what looked to be his grandfather dead, Steve and Clint wait for the kid to wake up. They had full intentions of telling the kid everything that happened, but when he arose he had no idea who Captain America or Hawkeye were. He didn't remember what had happened. Steve thought telling the boy could wreck him, so he hid the truth, just saying they're friends of his grandpa and that they were here to help train him. Obviously, Goku and fighting go hand in hand, so he jumps on board, no question. With that said, Goku would be taken under the wings of Captain America and Hawkeye. This is a massive shift from the OG Dragon Ball because Goku isn't alone when Bulma finds him. In fact, Bulma is shocked when she does because she knows Steve Rogers. Bulma would reveal the purpose of the Dragon Balls to Goku, Cap, and Hawk. Bulma isn't able to trick Goku into going with her, but because Cap doesn't want Bulma going alone, agrees to follow along on this quest. The search for the Dragon Balls are a lot easier now. They meet Yamcha, Oolong, Chi-Chi, and everyone else they'd normally meet. The 4+ Yamcha have no trouble with Pilaf or his gang. They never get captured due to Hawkeye and Captain America's intelligence. Therefore, the group is able to gather the Dragon Balls without much issue at all. However, Bulma doesn't feel the need to wish for a boyfriend because she found Yamcha. Captain America decides to take the wish and wishes for an end to world hunger. After this, the Earth has nearly a year of peace. Goku has been training with Roshi like he would in canon, except Hawkeye is also there to help and aid. Therefore, when Krillin arrives, he takes a strong liking to Hawkeye. He learns and follows in Hawk's footsteps. Not to mention Captain America also made a point to come to Kame House regularly for sparring. One day during a sparring session, Master Roshi tells Goku, Krillin, Hawkeye, and Yamcha that they'd be representing the Turtle Hermit School. Roshi also tells Steve that he'd love for Captain America to join them as well. Without a second guess, Cap nods in agreement. Unknown to Master Roshi, another school had intentions of entering the World Martial Arts Tournament, Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters, otherwise known as the X-Men. With the talent pool laid out for the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, Roshi doesn't feel the need to disguise himself as Jackie Chun. Therefore, the tournament really is the Turtle Hermit School versus the X-Men. Round 1, Match 1 was Krillin versus Storm. Storm shows abilities that haven't been seen up to this point. She had the capability of using Atmokinesis, the ability to manipulate the weather. This kept Krillin on his toes for sure. But ultimately, with a shower of lightning, Krillin falls short, losing to Storm. This leads us into Round 1, Match 2, Yamcha versus Captain America. Captain America, like Jackie Chun, is able to get the best of Yamcha, winning the round. Round 1, Match 3 gets a bit heavier when it's Hawkeye versus Cyclops. This was the match the fans loved to see, biting their nails at the edge of their seats just waiting for one man to slip up. Clint Barton, master of trajectory and timing, had anticipated Scott Summers' moves, weaving through the crimson energy beams with the agility of a seasoned acrobat. He'd even landed a few well-placed sonic arrows, momentarily disrupting Cyclops' focus. But Scott, relentless and precise, had adapted. The final devastating optic blast, narrowly avoided, had singed Hawkeye's eyebrow and forced him to his outer edge position in the ring until tumbling over the side after a loss of balance. Cyclops barely scrapes up a victory. However, for the next X-Men, his fight wouldn't go his way. That being Round 1, Match 4, Goku vs. Iceman. Before the match started, the clouds got gray as snow started to fall from the sky. Goku immediately noticed that Iceman must have some type of ice manipulation similar to Storm's weather manipulation. This would give Goku a slight advantage going forward, not letting any of Iceman's tricks bother him. Iceman starts creating blizzards and ice projectiles that Goku, using his speed, manages to weave and dodge. The battle would escalate, Iceman's attacks growing larger and more complex, trying to capture Goku in an ice prison just for Goku to explode a massive aura that shatters the ice surrounding him. Goku unleashed a rapid sequence of blows until eventually a spin kick with ki infused knocks Iceman out of the ring, causing the crowd to erupt in awe as Goku moves on to the semifinals. During the tournament's intermission, Tony Stark, sponsor of the World Martial Arts Tournament, would announce his Stark's Tournament of Power. Tony explains the rules are less strict than the World Martial Arts Tournament, and further rules would be dropped after the winner of this tournament is announced. Captain America is hesitant on the rules, believing the possibility that someone could get hurt or worse. However, instead of jumping to conclusions, Steve planned to talk with Tony about his concerns, but for now his main focus was his next opponent for Round 2, Match 1, Captain America vs. Storm. This was quite the match. Storm was keeping Cap on the heels of his feet. However, every time a ray of lightning was shot from Storm, she'd leave herself open for being hit. Captain knew this was all timing, and if he could just pace and time her attacks, then he could swoop in. This was easier said than done, however, because Storm wasn't just shooting lightning. She used crazy amounts of wind, blowing Captain backwards, nearly eliminating him. But somehow, Cap manages to dash through the wind, exploding his fist under her jaw, causing Storm to stumble. Captain stays on the attack, punch after punch, until finally Storm is on the ropes. Storm wasn't going to lose by ring out. She refused, telling Captain to finish her off. Captain America, though, doesn't really have a need to win the tournament. He sees what Xavier's School of the Gifted does. The school takes in those who aren't accepted by society's standards. They take those whose abilities are much more extreme than the average humans and teach them to control them. In fact, Captain America knew that Goku would be the right fit to learn from the school and learn to control that great ape form. So instead of Captain America finishing off Storm, he steps out of the ring, eliminating himself. The Turtle Hermit School is floored, not understanding why Steve made that choice. So while Goku enters his round 2 match 2 against Cyclops, Cap explains his actions to not only himself but also to Charles Xavier, Professor X. Goku and Cyclops walk to the center of the ring, shaking hands before the announcer starts the match. The two gave it all they had, the blows trading back and forth. Goku would even catch Cyclops' visor, cracking it. They had been trading blows for what felt like an eternity. Goku's ki blasts clashing against Cyclops' optic beams, creating blinding flashes of light that danced across the faces of the stunned crowd. Goku, confident he'd weathered the worst, charged forward with a loud roar, unleashing a flurry of rapid-fire punches, but Cyclops, anticipating the assault, used his control over his optic blasts to create a series of focused concussive beams that pushed Goku back, staggering and momentarily blinded. Seeing his opportunity, Cyclops unleashed all the stored energy in his blasts, creating a devastating continuous beam. Goku, caught off guard, found himself pushed to the edge of the ring, his feet scrambling for purchase. With a final desperate burst, Cyclops sent Goku flying, not with a knockout blow, but clear out of the ring. The crowd went silent, just to explode in echoing cheers for the winner of the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, Cyclops. When the tournament is over, the Turtle Hermit gang meets up with the X-Men. Professor X would invite Goku into the School of the Gifted, in which he would accept. But first, it was time for the Dragon Balls to turn back from stone. So Goku was set to go on the search for Grandpa Gohan's 4-star Dragon Ball. However, Goku wasn't the only one searching for the Dragon Balls, because both Pilaf's crew and the Red Ribbon Army were on the hunt. Conveniently enough, Goku, Pilaf and crew, and the Red Ribbon Army all find themselves in the same village. Pilaf finds the Dragon Ball first, with Goku following after agreeing to marry Chi-Chi. Pilaf and his crew jumped out of the window once they saw Goku, but were captured by Colonel Silver. Silver steals the ball from Pilaf and heads to the jungle, in which he'd run straight into Goku, who literally one-punches Silver, taking the Dragon Ball for himself. However, since it was the 6-star ball, Goku continued looking. The next Dragon Ball is deep in the Arctic lands, near Jingle Village. Goku finds out that the village chief had been kidnapped and taken to Muscle Tower. Goku would eventually come across the tower, but it looked like the tower had already been ransacked and attacked. Goku proceeds to walk in the tower to find Major Metallitron in pieces on the bottom floor. The next floor, Ninja Murasaki is lying face first unconscious, when at that moment Goku hears a loud crashing thud from the next room over. Goku enters the room. On the door is a number 8. Unaware of what he's walking into, Goku was prepared for anything, or at least that's what he thought, because as he entered, a mechanic body came flying, smashing through the wall next to the door. Goku tries to speak to the robot, but it dashes up off the ground in a ball of green energy. The android darts right past Goku, who turns to find a man in a mech suit. Goku asks who the man is, who replies with 3 words, "I am Iron Man." Last time, Goku stares up at Iron Man, not knowing who this guy was and why he was ambushing this tower.